Well, in 1963, a group of young men who met together to really to listen to people speaking at dinner about their different occupations, invited the Reverend Nick Stacey, who was then the rector of Woolwich. During the meal, I turned to him and said, "We actually want to do something useful to help people who are less fortunate than we are." He said, "That's extraordinary." He said, "3 friends of mine have just asked me the same question." So to cut a long story short, we got together with his 3 friends because Nick had proposed both to them and to us that we start a housing association to house homeless families. We knew nothing about it. None of us had ever been involved in anything like it. But he began to show us the way. He started by taking us down to a homeless hostel where we actually saw and talked to the occupants of that hostel and got some idea of the difficulties that they'd been facing in their lives and how desperately they wanted a home. In the early days, we didn't employ any staff. We couldn't afford to. The committee did the work themselves. And I very well remember in a little street in Woolwich being taken down by the mum who I was interviewing to see her children in the basement in bed asleep. And she pointed to her little daughter, and the daughter had a mark on her cheek. And she said, "That's a rat bite that she got 2 nights ago. There are rats in this bedroom." Converting houses into flats was a good route to take, but there weren't that many of them on the market. We were beginning to amass a little bit of confidence in what we were doing. We were beginning to take on staff. We even had a small head office in Deptford High Street. So having moved from being totally voluntary, we were beginning to employ professionals, and they would from time to time find a site for development. So we moved into the building of houses, and that's when we began our association with a whole range of small and large building companies, which has grown and grown and grown in the following 49 years. We've undoubtedly pioneered the concept of not just producing any old housing, but really good houses that people do want to live in and are happy living in. And I think that's one of the really key things that L&Q has stuck with all the way down the years. I think in 20 years' time, we need to see a real development of togetherness in society, and togetherness is created by having housing which is suitable for people whether they are homeless or whether they are reasonably prosperous. You then get a sort of a sense of unity in the different villages which cities are made up of. It's so important that the old sense of a place being a village is kept with people who do work together in all aspects of society.